Okay. All right. So after going through that drama, you're working with Babyface again. And were the first two kind of bigger songs, Dru Hill, These Are the Times?
These Are the Times. And Never Gonna Let You Go by
Faith Evans. Faith Evans, Never Gonna Let You Go.
Yep.
Right?
So those songs, at that point, that's 98, right?
Yep. And then that same year was the Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston song, When You Believe.
Yes, I worked on that with Kenny as well.
Okay. And I remember when I interviewed Rodney Jerkins, who worked with Whitney as well, we were just talking about, the greatest singers of all time. And Rodney, who's worked with everyone, who's sold hundreds of millions of records, said flat out, Whitney Houston is the greatest female singer of all time.
I mean, if you look at female vocalists in terms of just the greatest voices, the greatest voices.
She's the one.
Number one?
She's, in my opinion, number one. Number one.
I think that's a very strong
hands
argument.
down. Let me put it like this. Who wants to sit next to her? Hands down. In her prime.
Yeah.
Hands down. What female wants to sit next to her and go toe to toe?
I mean, maybe Mariah.
She don't want that.
Mariah don't want that smoke?
Not back then. Not in her prime. Not like. Mariah was dope. Mariah is still dope. Mariah is one of the dopest ever, right? Mm-hmm. But Whitney came from the church. So when you're talking about sitting down next to someone and just going line for line, and you from the church, that's a different thing to be in. Because when you in the church, you got girls in the choir that can out-sing you as a leader.
I believe that she is a great singer. I do. And I also work with Whitney on Sparkle. So I was the last, Harvey and I, the Underdogs, were the last producers to work with Whitney. So I saw it from the beginning and I saw it in the end. And, it was crazy to see, in the end, but that was kind of.
Because you were actually, weren't you actually working on her last album that was supposed to be like her comeback album?
We worked on the Sparkle soundtrack. Okay,
so you didn't work with her later on.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So she was at our studio 4 days before she passed. So at the same studio Pac was at. Nobody knows that. So take Track Record. Underdogs ended up taking over Track Record. And both of them were in the same room. So.
Yeah. Okay. And then in 99, that's when you and Harvey J. Mason Jr. formed the Underdogs.
Yes. So let's go back to Mariah Carey, though. I also wrote with her, and Kenny sent me to write with her. She's pretty. So I can't, when you say the greatest of all time, it's kind of hard to say. We worked with so many. I don't know Rodney's whole discography, but I know working with Mariah, working with a Whitney, or working with even a J Hud, who's a different kind of singer on Dreamgirls. But for me, I would have to say Beyoncé was the nicest artist I've ever worked with, and probably the most talented one for me. That would be my favorite.
Yeah, I feel you.